Hello everyone, Radar with Politics here, back with another video. Welcome back. Today I wanted to just give a brief update, if I can, about the week's politics events. So we've got Brexit still, that's always going to get talked about, isn't it? And we've had a big debate about universal credit, whether it should be paused, whether it should be continued to roll out to the rest of the country, because it's been changed. So let's begin with universal credit, because that's enraged me such a lot that I just want to get it out. So universal credit, like they discussed it on Wednesday in PMQs, and whether it should be paused because the government is doing such a bad job of getting people's payments out to claimants who want, have to wait, basically they have to wait 6 weeks in order to receive, over 6 weeks in order to receive their first payment of universal credit. And they can't afford food, they can't afford clothing for their kids if they're looking after their kids, or just stuff like that, basic essentials. It's just it's completely insane, this logic of yeah, we're gonna have to make you wait. And we're also going to make you pay 55p a minute to call up your job centre so that you can talk about getting your money, which you're not going to get until 6 weeks anyway, which they've now rolled back thanks to Labour putting pressure on them for, why are you making them pay if they've already got no money? Why are you making them pay 55p a minute that they don't have? What? Why? That is stupid. That is stupid logic. It's grossly. Laura Pidcock, a Labour MP for Durham, in PMQs asked, is this calculated cruelty, or is it just a gross incompetence that you just can't seem to understand, people on a base level as to why they can't afford things generally, because they might not have a job, they might be unemployed. It might not be their fault that they're unemployed. They might have childcare issues. They might be having to do other things. They might have to be looking after their elderly parents. Who knows? It might not be their fault. And the more time that they go without not having any money, they have to pay rent to their landlords, and their landlords have to then wait. It absolutely enrages me that is the attitude of this Tory government, who seem like they just don't care at all about people in general. They're just going to make you wait 6 weeks, and that the answer to that is they just sit there and they're like, oh well, it's worked for 80% of people, and we're rolling it out in certain parts of the country slowly so we make sure that we get it right. You're clearly not getting it right, so the logic would be to pause it and sort it out until you get it right, and then carry it on. And that was what Labour asked you to do, and you clearly on Thursday didn't turn up for that vote. There was a motion to pause universal credit because it was going that badly wrong that people weren't receiving their payments, were just going into rent arrears, absolutely disastrous. People, a mother's son, her 5-year-old son, had to rummage through bins to find food. And that was genuinely what she said on a news article. My son has to rummage through bins sometimes, and it's embarrassing, and I'm really ashamed of myself. And these poor people. And again, the Conservatives just sit on these panel shows and they're like, oh well, this is going well, and this is happening to 80% of people who receive universal credit, and it's going great for these people. Yeah, so on that logic, if you build someone a house and you don't have a roof on top of it, and the person asks, why didn't you build a roof? And your response is, well, the rest of the house works fine, and the plumbing is fine, and the brickwork is fine, but that house doesn't have a fucking roof on it. Do you not see where you're going wrong? I think the thing that really annoys me so much about most Tory MPs and most members of government, when they come onto panel shows such as Question Time or Daily Politics or any show like that, and they'll get asked questions and they won't answer the questions directly. They'll say things like, well, what we've done is, I've been very clear on this, our government's been very clear on this issue, what we're going to try and do is, what we have done is, our message on this is, and it's it sounds like someone's given you like a script to read from, and you've just gone from, like, you're not even a human being, like you're not even like on a personal level, like you don't look like you care very much about what you're talking about, and it's just like follow the party line. And it's just so, and they don't even like take responsibility. It's like, well, that wasn't our fault. Like, we didn't do that. The Labour Party started doing that. The Labour Party is responsible for the recession, the global recession that we're in. And the Labour Party did this, and the Labour Party did that. The Labour Party is the reason why we're in so much debt. The Labour Party introduced tuition fees. And it's like, for fuck's sake, stop blaming other people for your own terrible government. Like, you are so weak. You are so bad. You are like, your own Prime Minister has been labelled like a robot because she's that, like, she has no personality, no empathy, no compassion. And it's just like, I can't believe the absolute failures of this government. Like, they just behave like they just don't give a shit about normal people. Just normal people. And like the way they behave, like, there was a news story today that a Tory MP claimed about 600 odd quid on taxpayers' expenses for the water that he used in an hour-long bath. Like, what the fuck, man? What the fuck? Like, we have representatives, like, that people vote for this. People vote for this. And in regard to universal credit, they're going to vote on Thursday where, like, most of the party abstained because they knew they were going to lose. They were, like, just cowards, lost 299 to nothing on a motion that would pause universal credit, and none of them, bar one person, voted. So in regards to Brexit, we're now, 15 months from the referendum vote, and it looks as if we still haven't gotten anywhere in regard to negotiations. We've been in Brussels for a while, and Theresa May was in Brussels this week to meet with world leaders, European leaders, about the progression of talks. And like, we obviously want to get straight ahead with talking about trade, and we can't do that until we've actually negotiated how we're going to leave. And we still don't know how we're going to leave, how much we're going to pay. Europe, obviously, the EU wants us to pay, like, they've probably given us, like, a number, and we're like, no, I don't want to pay that much, I only want to pay this much, but, you know, I don't even know how I want to leave, and how like, what I'm going to do, and, like, I just have no idea about, like, anything. I don't think anyone really knows, and, some people in the Tory party are considering the notion of a no deal, where we crash out of the EU with no deal whatsoever on, like, WTO, World Trade Organization rules, where our tariffs will go up and we'll have to pay more for imports and exports on both sides, and people genuinely seem to think that's a good idea. Like, it will be okay, and, like, nothing bad will happen. And, like, anyone, and it's just, like, the whole mentality in this country where if you're talking the country down, you're a traitor. You're a traitor and a saboteur. How dare you? How dare you talk the country down? Like, you must be positive and get behind the country. Be patriotic. And it's like, I'm just trying to be pragmatical, is that a word? Like, be a pragmatist and try, like, obviously, like, talks aren't going very well, and we have to, like, consider the options that we have and what is the most likely outcome at the moment, and what we want to get, obviously, is a good deal. But, you know, you have to consider everything. It's like, why can't we just leave? And it's like, this is like a massive thing. Like, the EU is a deal. We've got, like, legislation, like, documents, pages and pages of legislation that have to be changed, have to be looked at, have to be monitored and, like, rewritten and redone, etc. And some people, like, some Brexiters, like, they act like, why can't we just walk out the door? Like, it's just like a job. Like, I want to leave, so I'm going to leave, and bye. I don't think that's how it works. So I think a lot more work has to go into it. So yeah, and So that's the state of the Brexit talks at the moment, clearly not getting very far at all. And, you know, there are some quite deluded members of the Tory party that think that we can get far on like a no deal, which, well, frankly, I think will be a disaster. Like, you know, inflation's already having a massive impact on this country. Like, food prices are going up, and you know, the pound is down from the euro, and like the euro is worth more than the pound, so people going on a holiday will like see the effects of that, and it's generally not going very well. So I think a deal would be nice, but I doubt whether I generally, I'm getting to the point where I don't even know like how it will happen, just because negotiations are just going nowhere, and we have to have this sorted out by March 2019, so that's like a year and a half away now. So yeah, I don't know, guys. What do you reckon? I don't know. I just think this Conservative Party that we have, hence why they lost their mandate and their majority in June at the general election, and we need to get them out. We need to get them gone, because they are destroying this country. Like, our wage growth is lower than it was in the Napoleonic Wars, which was like 200 odd years ago. 200 years, and like wages are like still stagnating, and our credit rating as a country has gone down. It's been downgraded again, and like public services are still being cut, and it like I don't see anything good happening for this country. Like, I don't. There's what investment is being made into this country, because I don't see it. I just don't see it with this government, because I feel like all they want to do is not admit that they're wrong, and just drag the whole country and drag the economy down with it, to not admit, like, because they're that desperate for their own like personal careers and their own success, that they just don't give a shit about the rest of the people living in this country. Let's get rid of all the immigrants. Oh, for God's sake. So yeah, anyway, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next video.